Oh, let me get this out the way right quick. It's just a funny little video, but I think it's interesting to point out. Oh my goodness. I see folks that'll unironically support Ukraine, and I'm like, bruh, why would you support Ukraine in 2021? Why? Why would anybody legitimately support Ukraine? Regardless of the whole people and the Nazi collaborators, this and that, Azov battalion. It's like, why? It's a it's simply it's simply a chump country. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's simply a pawn. Same thing as what they want to make, all the, a lot of these European nations, well, European being a, in heavy quotations, but, same thing that, people will talk about with, Estonia, Latvia, or Lithuania. You don't hear motherfuckers talking about them. But yet you'll hear so many people coping about Ukraine. Oh, listen, the Azov battalion, that's a small part of, the Ukrainian military, just because they get support from, from Israel, nobody gives a shit about Ukraine. I'm sorry. There's only LARPers, people like, what is his name? The actor that passed away a few years ago now. I'm trying to think of his name now. Uh, what in the hell is his name? That's gonna bug the hell out of me. Jack Palance. There we go. Yeah, Jack Palance. Well, apparently was going to receive an award from Russia, and didn't want to take it because he's like, oh well, my Ukraine is a real country, because I understand he's like Ukrainian, but it's like, bruh, Ukraine is such a joke of a country. It's like you can laugh about the Baltic too, whether it's Lithuania, Latvia, or Estonia. You could laugh at those countries because, like, those countries are, a fair amount of their population is Russian, so it's like, people laugh at those nations in general, but it's like, people will LARP about these nations and say, oh, well, this country's based, and yet you don't hear shit about people talking about the Baltics. You don't hear them, it's like they will. It's like when you hear these Zionist type of folks. I remember that guy in chat a few months back who was like, "Well, the Native Americans got their land taken by America." The fuck are you talking about, bro? Then do you want the United States to decolonize? Then you want white folks to go back to the United States? That probably include you, fucker. But it's like, I don't get that shit. I legitimately don't get that shit. I don't get this type of shit where you're like, oh yeah, well, this country's based, but this other country's. You guys are stupid. And it's like, look, I can respect, Assad for the fact that he's just trying to defend the country. And you could say, oh, he's not good. He's not, he kills his own people, this and that. But it's like, what is, I don't get when people say, oh, well, because he killed his own people. And the thing is, that's still up for debate, because ultimately there are inspectors of the OPCW who will be like, well, that's not necessarily true. There's plenty of records to show that the white helmets were in there and fuck shit up and everything else. So I'm not, to me, the jury is still out. But there are plenty of idiots out there who will say, oh, it's real. I mean, it's false flag type of stuff. It's no different than the Germans, claiming that Poland, another country that, a lot of folks will say, well, based Poland. And it's like, come on. But that Poland invaded their radio station on the border, when in actuality, this was set up, I think, by Reinhard Heydrich, I want to say. I could be wrong, or maybe I don't. This is before Skorzeny really took power, but I think that it was a complete setup. It was a complete fucking setup. And it was the last excuse for war, apart from the whole, well, Danzig is actually German and we want that city back. It's such stupid shit. That's my take on it anyway. It's just retarded arguments that go on about that shit, But yeah, it's just ridiculous when you see this type of shit. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Like I say, I don't try to defend nations. I'll try to defend the leaders for the time. And sometimes I will defend the culture, like for example with China. You know, because yeah, I do like kung fu movies and everything else, but I don't know. Like I say, it's just ridiculous where people actually respect the culture and respect the uh, a nation. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of do they actually give a shit about these people, especially with these neocons, you find out they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about the Kurds. They don't give a shit about Ukraine. They don't give a shit about Belarus. They don't care. They're simply pawns in a larger game. And that's what you'll find. I mean, unfortunately, that's how people see geopolitics. So it's just like, well, we need to use these people so we can take down these people. They don't actually give a shit about their motives. That's what you'll find. And it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, I think that that's how geopolitics is, regardless of what you claim to be politically. But yeah, that's all I have to say on it. It's funny to me because I knew I was going to catch some heat, but it's like there's this, you know, and this old school Ukrainian song or something like that. It's like not a country. And of course he's like, holy, fascist propaganda. It's like, what are you talking about? Oh, sometimes you gotta do a little bit of light trolling. Just a little bit of light trolling. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that. See you later and goodbye. No more of the we're not gonna I'm gonna try not to do that. That's kind of cringe. Anyway, goodbye.